What's going on, guys? It's Krause here. Welcome to my first YouTube video of the year, a complete tour of my $25,000 bike collection. Not only will you guys be seeing each and every bike that I currently own, I will also be updating you guys on the ones that I'm planning on selling. Yes, you heard that right. Some of the bikes are going to be leaving the collection, so make sure you stay tuned to find out which ones they're going to be. Also, I'll be looking at buying a brand new bike this year, and I'd love for you guys to help me out with that, so stick around. Anyways, we do have a lot of stuff to cover in today's video, so in no particular order, starting things off with a bang. Oh my God. We got the $5 bike. So you guys may remember this bike from my first ever YouTube video where I put, where I put it head to head against my $5,000 bike, or maybe you've seen it, oh my God, bro. Or maybe you've seen it over on my Instagram or TikTok. We've definitely had a bunch of fun on this thing. My personal favorite memory would probably have to be pulling off that amazing Endo 360, roll the clip. Let's go. On a $5 bike. However, as you guys may be able to tell, it has become seriously neglected as it is covered in cobwebs front to back. It is absolutely disgusting. I didn't even want to get it out for today's video. It is seriously scary over in the corner where it belongs. Cobwebs everywhere. And not only that, this bike has picked up some serious damage over this time as well. We're talking multiple broken front spokes. I'm pretty sure the front wheel doesn't even rotate freely anymore. And the chain is completely caught up in the bike and ruined too. So realistically, what's gonna happen is after we wrap filming today, this YouTube video, I'm gonna be taking this down to the tip and chucking it in the bin. On a $5 bike, it's been put through its paces. Oh my, we did it. I felt something make a loud noise. Okay, so now that we've got that bike out of the way, let's start bringing out some of the more serious bikes in the collection. This is one that a lot of you guys have been asking about, the Carbon Fiber Canyon Street Trials bike. It has been way too long since this bike has been in a video, but I do have a valid explanation. Perhaps some of you may remember a more recent video of mine where I was trying to fix the brakes on this thing as they were completely contaminated and ruined, and well, since then, they've become worse. The original source of my problems was coming from the caliper itself. The brake line bolt right here had come completely loose and was leaking brake fluid all over my rotor, completely ruining the system. I immediately fixed that issue and bought all new braking parts to fix this bike once and for all, only to discover a braking issue that was much worse. Due to all the bar spins that I'd been messing around with, I didn't realize it at the time, but I actually managed to split the actual brake line hosing. If I take off this, you can see I've got a bunch of duct tape on there right now, just trying to hold in whatever fluid is left in there. There isn't a lot. It was absolutely just dripping out. So that was roughly a month ago, and truth be told, I just simply haven't got around to fixing it yet. It should be pretty simple. Cut the line where the split is to get rid of it, reattach it to my brake lever, re-bleed the whole system, get the new rotor on, get the new pads on, and then we'll finally be good to go with this thing. But there you have it, guys. That is the quick update on the Carbon Fiber Canyon bike. I absolutely love this thing. I've definitely missed riding it. It's easily one of my most favorite bikes in the collection. Let's keep things moving along. On to the next bike. Keeping on trend with bikes that could use some TLC, we've got the Merida E160 electric mountain bike. Now, I must admit, you guys really don't see enough of this bike on the channel, and if I'm being honest, I really don't know why. This is a seriously cool and fun bike to ride. We're talking 3 different riding modes: Eco, Trail, and Boost. 4 if you want to include the cool walking feature that it comes with too. It has a carbon fiber front triangle, a 29-inch wheel on the front, a 27.5-inch wheel on the rear, making this bike super maneuverable. We've got Marzocchi Bomber Z1 forks on the front of the bike and a nice RockShox Super Deluxe on the rear, meaning this bike can pretty much absorb anything that you throw at it. We've even got a clip to throw in here right now of me absolutely sending this huge jump on it. This thing handles it like an absolute treat. For those of you who may be curious, this bike would definitely be up there as one of the most expensive in the collection. However, I do believe that top spot belongs to another bike, which we haven't seen just yet. Now, I did briefly touch on TLC before. What this bike needs is bleeding the front and rear brakes here. They're both a bit not so good, and potentially new rotors front and rear too, as they might be slightly contaminated. Seems like all my brakes are contaminated these days. It is the worst problem to have, but it's a very simple fix, and I will definitely get around to it, especially if you guys let me know in the comments below if this is a bike that you would like to see more videos on. And this goes for every bike that you guys see in today's video. Please drop a comment below. Some of the bikes that you'll see you haven't seen too much of. Let me know if you want to see more of those in the videos too. I'll be happy to do that for you guys. That's a wrap on this bike. Keep things going. Okay, so now it is time to reveal a bike that no one has seen
seen before, and I mean no one. It's never been in any of my videos before, partly because it sort of just lives in the back of the shed gathering dust, unfortunately, but you'll see why in a second. This is a very cool bike still, nonetheless. This is the Giant Trance. Now, you guys will have to forgive me. I don't actually know too much about this bike, even the model name. It's got an X on the top tube here, so we're gonna say Giant Trance X or something, don't know. Also don't know what year it is. It's got 26-inch wheels, front and rear. That is a clear sign of how old this bike is. It's like, they don't even make bikes like this anymore, but it is absolutely decked out with all the top stuff. Back in its day, this bike was top tier. Let's have a look. We've got a full Shimano Dior drivetrain on this thing. Even the brake levers here, Shimano Dior XT, down to the cranks, Dior XT, even Shimano Dior XT rims, guys. That is some serious baller rims right there. We've got the Fox float rear shock on this thing. Absolutely love Fox forks. I reckon they just look so cool with the bronze there. Fox front forks as well. Now, as you guys might be able to tell, this bike is definitely got a few things missing on it. So this is yet another bike that I would be looking to fix in 2025, although I sort of feel like I'm not in a rush to, and that's exactly why it hasn't really been ridden in any videos before, because I'm lucky enough to have access to other bikes now that are sort of like this, but newer and all those sort of things. I've still got another mountain bike to show you guys today in the videos that you haven't seen, but yes, I want to bring this one out because I thought you guys haven't seen it before. So hopefully you still think it's pretty cool. Let's keep going. Next bike. So now it is time to reveal my all-time favorite bike in the collection. If you guys have been watching my videos from the beginning, you will know exactly which bike I'm referring to. The best ever, in my opinion, the Specialized P-Slope. So for those of you who may need a little bit of context about this style of bike, because you may not have heard about it before, it is a slope style bike. As you can see, it is quite a small frame. It's got 26-inch wheels, front forks, but this is where it gets really cool. It's got the rear shock. So you can pretty much just think of it as a dirt jumper, but with a rear shock. And the reason for the rear shock is it is meant to do a style of riding called slope style, which some of you may be familiar with. It is pretty much just huge dirt jumps for doing awesome tricks and all that. So the point of the rear shock is to just help absorb those extra big impacts. So this was an absolute dream bike of mine, guys, growing up. When I got into mountain biking and all those things, I definitely wasn't riding a bike as nice as this one. Luckily enough, when I turned roughly 13 or 14, I think it was, I got my hands on this thing and I became absolutely hooked. I did my first ever backflip on this thing when I was 14 years old or something like that. I even took this thing to a downhill race in the Yuyang. Some of you might be familiar with the Yuyangs. I was absolutely obsessed with this thing, and as you can tell, I still am, and that is the exact reason why this bike is never ever leaving the collection. I think that'll do it for this bike right now. We've got other bikes to look at still, but before we say goodbye to this, I think it's only right that we get some sort of trick done on it. So let me get my helmet and we'll see what we can do.
What was that?
Oh, we've got a fire. Oh, and the rear's the same. There you go, that's my excuse for that dodgy one. The tyres need air. Take number 3. Let's go. Okay, we are back. And we are back with a bike that simply needs no introduction, guys. This is easily the most viewed bike that I currently own, the most famous bike, the one I easily get the most recognized out when I'm on. It is so hard to miss. We're talking about the Inspired 4Play Street Trials bike. This thing is sick. And I think we've timed this thing just perfectly that the sun is sort of starting to go down now. That is the only way you're able to somewhat capture the color of this bike. It is so bright, guys. In the full sun, cameras can't even capture it. It just goes fully overexposed. This thing is absolutely wicked. Let's take a quick look at some of the specs. For the braking system, we've got Magura MT7 levers up the front here, although this side is a Shimano SLX because I keep repetitively, because I keep on braking it all the time. Down the front here, we've got the caliper, which is awesome because it matches the lovely green here. Magura, of course. The hubs are Hope Pro 4, guys. Let's go to the rear and have a listen at that. Hopefully that sounded good because it sounds good in real life. We've got the, SRAM Descendant cranks there. Continental tires. These things are absolutely awesome and quite expensive when you've got to change them. This thing is absolutely decked out, guys. I did hint earlier in the video that there was a bike that had the top spot for the most expensive in the collection. This would have to be it. If we have a quick look, if you're looking at getting one of these types of bikes, you are looking at roughly $5,000 to $6,000. And now that is before shipping costs, guys, and that is also before you get contacted by your local airport saying you've got to pay an import tax fee as well of like $600-700 or something. So If you want the top one of these, you could easily be looking at $7,000 Australian. Absolutely insane for what looks like not a whole lot of bike, but again, it is probably the best street trials bike that you can buy right now. And yeah, I think that is all to say on this one, guys. We've got 2 bikes left, which I'm both going to bring out at the same time here. Some of you may know which bikes are missing and which bikes are still yet to be shown in the video, so you might know what's coming. That's a wrap on the Inspired 4Play. Let's get the other ones. So here are the 2 final bikes, the Polygon Trid, oh my God, and the Marin Rift Zone one. Before I address the plans for these bikes, let me give you guys a run through of each one really quickly, starting with the Polygon. So this thing is a pretty straightforward bike in terms of there's not really much to it other than 26-inch wheels front and rear, some X-Fusion forks on the front, and that's sort of it, some nice wide bars. It's designed for hitting dirt jumps. That's pretty much it. It is a super fun bike to ride. It comes in this amazing color and it's even got some nice little details on the frame and all that, nice seat and whatnot. Unfortunately, I haven't upgraded the pedals here. We still got the plastics on there. Comes with the awesome tan wall tires too, which again just brings this whole sort of bike to life, I think. It looks really great. It rides really great. Can't really fault this bike. Let's move on to the next one. And lastly, we have a bike that I've been absolutely loving riding, the Marin Rift Zone one. On this thing, we've got 27.5-inch wheels front and back, making it super playful, which I love. It comes in this pretty awesome colorway. Never would have thought putting these 2 colors together would be a good idea, but hey, here we are. And I think it looks pretty awesome, especially if you like standing out with your riding. And I've even gone ahead and matched it with some nice blue pedals there. So I think, in my opinion, the bike looks pretty sick. We've got your pretty standard Shimano brakes on the front and rear here. X-Fusion fork up the front, X-Fusion fork at the rear there, and Shimano Dior gear set at the back. Now that we've covered some of the positives about this bike, I do have one negative, the rear shock. Apologies to everyone who's already heard me talk about this, but for those of you who might have missed out, let me briefly update you guys. It is constantly losing air. Now, obviously, this is something that's just occurring to me and my bike. This obviously doesn't speak for every one of these bikes in the world, but what is happening is every time I'm pumping this thing up with air to fit my body weight and have it all set up, it's only a matter of time before all the air has completely leaked out and it's back to being flat again. Now, I did upload an Instagram and TikTok video talking about this very topic, and I got a lot of suggestions from you guys at home saying maybe I should just look at fixing the seals for the rear shock, or even going ahead and buying a brand new rear shock for the bike, which got me thinking of perhaps an even better idea. What if I just bought a whole new mountain bike? Hear me out. Like I said earlier, I've really been enjoying riding this style of bike again, and I remember just how fun mountain biking really is. And I know a lot of you guys watching love the mountain bike content too. So what I was thinking is, what if I didn't just sell the Marin, but if I also sold the Polygon Dirt Jumper? I think it could be super cool bringing a whole new mountain bike to the channel to film new content with. I'm sure you guys would love it, and this is where I actually need your help. As someone who has been on the outside of the mountain biking scene for the past few years, I'm really out of date with what's a good bike, what's a bad bike, which ones I should be avoiding, and that's where I'd really appreciate your guys' opinion. What I'm looking for is a bike that is super maneuverable and playful, capable of doing tricks, and is somewhat lightweight. For 3, I cannot do a 3, what the hell? Also, if there are any mountain bike brands or shops out there who would want to hit me up with a bike, I'm sure we could work out some pretty awesome content too for that. Anyways, that's the plan. I hope you guys are on board for that. It would be very sad to see these 2 bikes go, but it'll be even more exciting to see a brand new one join the collection. And there you have it, guys, the complete tour of the $25,000 bike collection. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you drop a comment below if you have any questions about the bikes here. I'll be sure to answer them for you, and I'll see you soon. Woo!